Hello, guys. I am Desi and I want to welcome you guys today to this live. Um, I was having a little bit of trouble getting myself logged in, but I'm glad that you guys stuck around. I'm here, and today I was actually going to be talking. I'm going to be talking about creating a financial legacy. You know, as an investor, I've been an investor now since 1982. Right, I started investing in real estate in 1982, long time ago, because I'm an old guy. But when I was as a younger man, as an investor, I wasn't thinking so much about a legacy. I just wanted to make a lot of money as an investor, and I think that a lot of you guys might feel that way too. Just want to make a lot of money as an investor, right? But as I've gotten older, I come to realize that it's more than just making money. When you're trying to create an investment, you should really be trying to create, I think, something to make your family's life better as well too, not just your own life. And so as I've gotten older, I started to realize that what I wanted to do is I want to create a financial legacy for my family, something that people can that I can use to change the financial destiny for my family. Most families they get stuck in this cycle of I don't want to call it poverty, but a cycle of certainly brokenness, right? Generation after generation, nobody really excels. From time to time, someone within a family might step up and they break outside the mold and they do really well financially. But very often, they don't look back to say, okay, so what can I do to help the rest of my family, other members of my family, or whatever, right? What can I do to help them to do better? And so today I'm going to be showing you guys something that I call the family circle of wealth. And I'll show you how I use this strategy, this powerful strategy, to change my family's financial story forever. And and anybody can do it. That's the beautiful thing about it. It's not something that that some people can do and some people cannot. Anyone that decides that they want to change their family's financial destiny can use the strategy that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. It's the family circle of wealth. By the way, I did write a book called The Family Circle of Wealth. This is it here. This book is available on Amazon. It's only $20. And in this book, I go into more detail and I talk about how you can create a family dynasty for your family that will last 360 years. That's a lot of generations. And so that's what I put together for my family. It took a little bit of sacrifice initially, but overall, the sacrifice is not very much. And the sacrifice is not for very long either. So I'll talk about that in just a minute. But let me just explain to you the big picture of the family circle of wealth. The big picture is that you start with an investment, just like you're doing right now. Many of you guys already have investments. Maybe you're a landlord. Maybe you are a property flipper, but maybe you own, invest in cryptocurrency or stocks or whatever. It starts there. Because what you need to really make this plan work well is you need a source of income that is passive. So if you are a landlord and you're collecting rents, that's what I'm talking about. Now, in my case, I like investing in mortgage-backed promissory notes. I used to invest in real estate, but I never liked being a landlord, And so I invest in mortgage-backed promissory notes, which means I basically buy mortgages that are on people's homes. And then each month, instead of collecting rent like a landlord, I collect interest because I am the bank to those homeowners. And just as a side note, I just want to say this too. I like the mortgage notes for another reason, because I can 100% leverage mortgage notes. So, for example, if I wanted to buy an apartment building, I'd have to come in with a down payment, right? And then a bank would lend me the rest. Well, if I wanted to buy the mortgage on that same apartment building, I don't need to come in with any money of my own. I can borrow all of it, 100% of it. So if I need $100,000, I don't have to have a down payment at all. I can buy the mortgage on that house with zero down. And I teach people how to do that at Note Investor University. But that's what I like to invest in. And then those mortgage payments that come in every month, that goes right into my pocket, because as a mortgage note investor, I am not a landlord. So I don't have to deal with, putting in a new furnace or getting a new roof or dealing with anything like that. I don't have to pay property taxes. All that stuff is paid for by the homeowner or the building owner, and they just pay their mortgage payment to me. So it gives me a lot more freedom. And that's one of the things I really like. So anyway, that's the route that I choose. But you can certainly you can use the family circle of wealth. You can use other investment opportunities for the family circle of wealth, as long as it creates some monthly, periodic cash flow. It could be monthly, it could be quarterly, but you need periodic cash flow from your investment. So that's the first step. Then the second step in that process is that you're going to take that monthly periodic cash flow, and you're going to use some of that money to create a financial legacy for your family by buying life insurance policies on each family member. Now, it's not just any kind of life insurance policy. And by the way, this is really a unique strategy that most people never really think about. But when you buy life insurance policies, if you buy the right kind of insurance policies, and what I'm talking about here, guys, is called whole life policies. You want to buy specially engineered whole life policies. It's not even traditional whole life policies. These whole life policies are engineered a certain way to create something called cash value. Now, for years, for most of my life, as a matter of fact, I purchased life insurance, but I always purchased term life insurance because it was the cheapest. I didn't understand the value in buying and spending any more money on life insurance than what was required for term. And after I became wealthy and I started running into more wealthy families and wealthy investors and talking with wealthy friends, I came to understand that no, I had a completely wrong picture of how life insurance should be used. Completely. Life insurance can be used while you're alive. You don't have to wait until you die to benefit from life insurance. You just have to know how to structure things so that you can put cash in your pocket during your lifetime from your life insurance policies. And so what I have done now is I have taken my family, 20, I think there's 26 or 27 members of my family now that we've covered with life insurance policies. I paid for all of those policies. But what's interesting is all you really need to do is just pay for one policy, because each policy starts to create cash flow, starts to create cash value, I mean. And so once you pay for the first policy, that policy will create cash value when you've structured it properly. Then you can take the cash value from policy number one to buy policy number two, which also creates cash value. And now you have two policies creating cash value. You can take the cash value from policies number 1 and 2 now that has generated, and you can buy policy number 3. I call it self-funding. So you can actually self-fund your family's life insurance policies, which is basically a financial legacy that you know for sure will be left for your family. And so what I've done, guys, is I created a trust to hold all these life insurance policies. I had an attorney draft a trust for me. It's called a dynasty trust. Now, a dynasty trust is not the same as a living trust. A living trust is used to pass on the money or the stuff that you have, and you want to leave it for your kids, or you want to leave it for your grandkids. But the problem with a living trust is that a living trust does not pass on your values. It does not pass on your big dreams, and it doesn't last very much longer than you do. Pretty much a living trust, after you die, a living trust pretty much dies shortly thereafter. And so a living trust, while it's good for transferring maybe your stuff, right, your car, your jewelry, your furniture, whatever, is really not that good for transferring multi-generational wealth. And that's why I had an attorney to create something called a dynasty trust. Because a dynasty trust can last hundreds of years. And the one that I have will last 360 years, long after I'm gone. And in the dynasty trust, I not only pass on my assets, like the notes that I own, or if I happen to own some real estate, that can also be in my dynasty trust. So that passes on to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation, because none of this stuff gets passed on to my heirs directly. Everything is owned by the trust. Now think about that for just a minute. Everything is owned by the trust. So none of your heirs can squander it or waste it and make it, disappear for the third generation. There's a saying, an old Scottish saying that says shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in three generations. And basically what they mean by that is they say that in generation number one, someone rolls up their sleeves, they go to work and they actually create wealth for themselves, right? And they create wealth. And then when they die, they pass that wealth on to their children. Now, their children received this wealth, but they were not a part in the creation of it. They were not involved in making it happen. And so they don't really appreciate what it took to make it happen. And they don't have the skills to make it happen oftentimes. And so what they do is they basically spend the wealth that was created by mom and dad, and that money never makes it to the grandchildren, or certainly never makes it past the grandchildren to the great grandchildren. And that's the whole idea behind shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in three generations, because those grandchildren or great grandchildren, they don't inherit very much, and they're going to have to roll up their sleeves and do what grandma or great grandma and great grandpa did, and that is they got to create the wealth. So what I've done, and what I suggest to people that you might want to consider doing, is since you have the skill set to create the wealth, why not put that wealth into a format that people cannot squander it? And a dynasty trust is a great way to do that. So all the assets that I'm going to leave behind are owned by the dynasty trust. Now, my family members have access to the cash flow from the assets that I leave behind, but they don't have access to control the assets. In other words, they cannot sell off. If I leave behind an apartment building or a rental property or a bunch of mortgage notes, they can't sell them off and just spend the money. They can take some of the cash that is generated and they can use that in accordance with the guidelines that I put into the trust, but they cannot just take it and squander it. I've seen this for many, many years. I'm 71 years old now, and I used to own a mortgage company and I used to own a couple of mortgage companies and a real estate company, a Century 21 franchise. And I have seen many people inherit money from their parents when they die. The first thing they do when they inherit, when mom and dad dies, is if they inherit the house, you know what they do? They will call me up as a real estate agent. They say, "Hey, Desi, my folks died. I inherited the house. We need to sell it." Right? And they sell it and they split the money up with the other siblings. And before you know it, in 2 or 3 years, all of it's gone. All the wealth that was created by mom and dad is gone. And I've seen it again and again and again over the last 40 years. And you probably have seen that as well if you've been paying attention. Well, by putting it into a dynasty trust, that can't happen, because when mom and dad die, the dynasty trust becomes irrevocable. And whatever they have placed in their dynasty trust, along with the instructions on how they want things handled, it has to be followed. People can't change it, which is an awesome, awesome thing. So I created a dynasty trust. And the reason I call it the family circle of wealth is because it goes like this. Basically, an investor like me or you, right? We invest in some asset that generates monthly cash flow, let's say. Let's say you got an asset that's generating $1,000 a month in rent, or in my case, $1,000 a month in interest. Okay? That $1,000 a month goes into the family trust. The family trust, the dynasty trust, uses that money to buy life insurance policies on family members, but these are specially engineered whole life insurance policies. Those life insurance policies create cash flow internally, automatically, by the way. And by the way, the cash, I said cash flow, but what I meant is cash value. The cash value inside these policies can be accessed by you, the investor. So it creates this cash value, and you can use that cash value to reinvest it to buy more assets. You can use it to live on. You can use it for whatever, because you own the trust. After you die, then the cash value cannot just be tapped into by your family members unless you have given them the authority to do that within your trust. So, so you have complete control, even from the grave, what happens to that money. But while you're alive, you have full access to that money. So that's what, when I learned that, I thought, well, okay, the reason that I've never purchased whole life insurance or any type of expensive insurance is because I felt instead of buying insurance, I should just invest the money. But what if I could buy insurance and invest the money? Well, whole life allows me to do that. When you structure these policies properly, it allows me to do that. And so I made a commitment that I would put $50,000 a year into my family's dynasty trust. And I'm now in the third year of doing that. But the beautiful thing is this, guys. I don't have to have $50,000 to put into the trust. So you may be thinking, I don't have 50,000 bucks a year. Here's the thing. When you put it into the trust, the 90% of that money that I put into my cash value, that I put into my family's trust, is available to me if I needed it for some reason. And that was the first year. By the way, this year, I'm now in year 3. I've noticed that about 95% of that $50,000 is available for me to take it right back out if I wanted to use it to live on or if I wanted to use it to invest in. But yet I still have all this life. I have millions of dollars worth of life insurance now on my family. And here's how this works. As each family member dies, because we all are, right? The death benefit from the life insurance policies is paid into the family's dynasty trust. The death benefit. So, for example, on my grandchildren, I have a $100,000 policy on each of my grandchildren. So as they age, the amount of that death benefit goes up. Just so you know, this I thought was pretty interesting. I bought a life insurance policy on one of my great grandchildren, and it cost me $450 a year, and have $100,000 worth of death benefit for her. She was only 6 years old when I bought it. She's 9 now, I think. And every year, the amount of death benefit goes up. If she lives to be 85 years old, there's going to be $1 million paid to the trust when she dies at 85. And it costs $450 a year, not a month. $450 a year is all it costs. And out of that $450, when I buy that insurance each year, I can take a chunk of that money right back out if I needed it for something. So it's not like I'm spending it. I'm just parking the money there in the life insurance company's policies. And when I need to tap into that money, it's available for me. So once I understood that, I realized, okay, so I can buy life insurance on every family member because it really doesn't cost me hardly anything as far as real cost. My concern was always cash flow. So I always felt if I bought life insurance, then I didn't have that money to invest. But now I can buy life insurance, which adds hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars into my family's net worth through death benefit through the life insurance policies. And at the same time, I can use that very same premium money that I paid for the insurance to go and invest in real estate or whatever that I choose to invest in. So I see it as the best of both worlds. So I call it the family circle of life because it starts with an investment that creates cash flow each month or each quarter. That cash flow is then used to buy life insurance policies that create cash value. The cash value is used by me to invest in more assets to create more cash flow. So it becomes a circle. And the dynasty trust is used to instruct my trustees that take over after I'm gone how to manage our money, right? How to manage our family's wealth so that our family does not go broke ever. As each person dies in our family, more wealth is added into our family's trust. And so we set ours up. I set ours up as a family bank. And what I mean by that is this. Any family member can go to the trust and say, hey, I'd like to borrow money. I want to buy a car. For example, one of my grandchildren recently came to the trust and said, I'd like to buy a car. She had turned 21. She had a job. And so the trust loaned her money to help her buy a car. And she's been making her monthly payments each month back into the trust. So instead of paying that money to Toyota, for example, each month, she pays that money into our family's private bank. That's what we call ours, our family bank, right? And now that money doesn't leave the family, because if she had financed her car through Toyota and she made payments to Toyota, that money would leave the family forever, wouldn't it? But because she financed her car through our family bank, she, with the cash value that's created in those life insurance policies, that's how she got the money for the investment. Sorry, to buy her car. Now that money stays in our family. So the next person that needs money to buy a car or to go to college or to take a vacation or to buy some furniture or to have some dental work done, whatever, instead of financing it outside the family, they can finance it inside the family, pay it back with a little interest, just like they'd pay it back to any other institution. And that money's available. So for my family members, guys, they love it. We're in our third year now, and they love it, and they use it for different things. And it's easy. They don't have to worry about qualifying or being turned down for financing. If they have something that they want to do, they can borrow money from the family bank. All they need to do is pay it back, and pay it back with interest. Okay. And that's no different than if they borrowed it from Bank of America. They'd have to pay it back and pay it back with interest, except Bank of America will make them jump through hoops. And if they were buying a car, for example, and they miss a payment to Bank of America, guess what? Bank of America is going to come and repossess the car. If they miss a payment to the family trust, we're not going to go and repossess the car. That's just not how we function. I don't have it set up to do that. At the end of the day, if someone doesn't pay back, however, they cannot ever borrow again from the trust. They literally are kicked out of the trust. But the life insurance policy that we have on them still remains. And when they die, that life insurance policy will pay off 100,000, 200,000, $500,000, whatever, and the trust will get the money back. It's just that this family member will lose its privileges to ever access the money again. So, and I can tell you right now, that's not what they want. Okay, they want to have access to the funds. So it's worked out really well for us. So guys, here's what I do. I teach people how to invest their money so they get monthly cash flow. And I do that at the Note Investor University. And then I help them raise money so that they can create a financial portfolio that will generate cash flow each month so they can do this family circle of wealth thing, right? As I said at the beginning of today's live, I purchase mortgage-backed promissory notes because I can purchase those with no money out of my own pocket. I can literally finance the entire thing. Unlike buying an apartment building or a house where you have to have a down payment. You can buy these mortgage-backed promissory notes and you don't have to have any money of your own. You can finance the entire thing. And I teach people how to do that. And so I typically charge, well, for the last year, I've been charging $8,000 to teach people how to do that. In January, that's going to go up to, I don't have the firm price on it, but it'll be a minimum of $12,000. Most likely it'll be closer to $15,000 to teach that. But we're still in Black Friday mode. And so for those of you that want to learn how to do that, I have an offer right now that I'd like to make to you. I'll teach you how to build a multi-million-dollar mortgage note portfolio. As a matter of fact, I'll even help you get started with that portfolio by coaching you personally for a full year during 2025. And but instead of charging you $12,000 or $15,000, right now, this week, the last week of Black Friday, we will, and you can enroll in this program for only $4,000. And by the way, I have financing on that too. If you don't have $4,000 in cash, just need a small down payment and you can make monthly payments. I don't really care about that part, but I do care that if you're serious, I don't want to waste my time. I'm 71 years old and I really don't have the patience for people who just want to learn stuff and not do stuff. But if you really do want to learn how to become financially free, like I did, how to create a family circle of wealth for your family, like I did, then you'll want to enroll in the program. Okay. We make it very affordable. I just ask that once you step into this, you just be serious about it. If you're serious about it, you cannot fail. I will not allow you to fail. I'll show you exactly how to do this. I'll show you what I did and how I went from being almost homeless 11 years ago to being a millionaire today using the strategies that I'm talking about today, right? Using the strategies that I've just shared with you guys. So I'll show you guys how to do that. And if you decide to enroll in our program, here's my guarantee to you. that during the first year investing with me, you're going to raise at least $250,000 minimum of other people's money so that you can buy mortgage-backed promissory notes. Okay, at least $250,000, and you're going to buy at least 3 mortgages under my guidance. That's my guarantee. If you don't do that in the 12 months, then you can have your money back. I don't need your money, but I do love helping people. It's kind of a ministry for me. So if you want to change your family's life, then you'll want to head over to Note Investing BlackFridaySpecial.com. That's Note Investing BlackFridaySpecial.com. And you can sign up right there. Okay. And if you get yourself signed up, you're going to have access to some training that you can do on your own time, because I put a lot of the knowledge that you're going to need, the basic fundamentals, I have that in video-based format. And then once you finish that, the video fundamentals, that's when I start taking you and teaching you how to use the knowledge that you just gained to actually create wealth and to change your family's financial story forever, right? And to become a financial hero in your own family. I've seen what it does. When you put this family circle of wealth strategy to work in your family, it's pretty amazing. I have seen how it has brought my family closer together. One of our family members is not doing so well. He's hooked on drugs, and his kids were not doing so well for the holidays and all of that because they don't have any money. And dad basically has abandoned them. Mom has abandoned them. Another family member picked them up and has taken them under her wings. But the rest of the family pulled together. We raised a lot of money and we sent it over so that these 3 children can have a great, happy, Merry Christmas, right? I guess it's the words that I want to use. They can have a very happy and a very Merry Christmas and not have to worry about money. Just because they were born to lousy parents, they were blessed to be born in an amazing family. And the family rallied around to make sure those kids were doing well for the holidays. And that never happened before we had this family trust. But because we set up our family trust, we've grown closer together. We meet once a year. We have something called a Dynasty Day, right? We meet once a year as a family, and we all get together and we get to know each other. So many of us have family members all around the country. We hardly ever talk to each other, right? Well, once I created this family circle of wealth for our family, it's brought everyone closer together. Our kids, our grandkids, they're talking to each other. They know each other now. They're helping each other. There's a lot of love that I can just see and feel within our family. That, not that we didn't love each other before, but it's just different now. I can't even really describe it. It's something that happens when someone steps up and takes the lead and says, I'm going to take this family to another level. I'm going to bring this family together. And it dawned on me that if I didn't do that, nobody else was going to do it. And so in your family, maybe you're going to need to be that person. I call that person the difference maker in a family. Every family needs a difference maker. And that could be you. You know, I chose to let it be me and my family. And I have not regretted it one bit. I've only relished it. It's been amazing. My kids, my grandkids, even my great grandkids, just my relationship with them has improved in such amazing ways as a result of us instituting this whole idea of the family circle of wealth. So if you guys are interested in that, head over to Note Investing BlackFridaySpecial.com. Get yourself enrolled. Once you're enrolled, study the basics, the fundamentals. It's all video based. You can teach yourself that on your own time. And as soon as you're done with that, that's when your coaching starts. Your one-on-one coaching with me and my partner, Patrick, that's when it starts. And we will literally hold your hand and make sure that you are successful. You will not fail. You will succeed. And I can say that with absolute certainty. You will succeed. You follow the things that we teach and you will succeed. As your coach for 12 months, I'm going to make sure that you succeed. Okay? So thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you guys got some value out of this, and I hope to see you guys real soon as a part of our coaching program and watch you become the difference maker in your family. So God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and enjoy your family during this holiday season.